So today we're going to be looking at email rules, more of the server rules, but I wanted to give it a start on first on the local rules, guys, and then going on to the server-based rules. Um, so I'm going to take it from approach from both Outlook as well as Apple Mail. And for those who are using either or even both. So I'm going to start with Apple Mail, guys, because I expect that majority of you guys are using Apple Mail, no discrimination. So I'm going to open my Apple Mail. And so first of all, what is a rule? So a rule is just a way to automatically assign emails into mailboxes. So if you're the person who take an email and just drag it into a folder or what we refer to a mailbox, you can still do that, but you can also create a criteria, put it per se, or a formula where as an email comes in, it will automatically go towards that mail. So I'm going to start with something basic and make it a little bit more advanced, and then we're going to move on to the server side of things. So first of all, say for instance, I've got a lot of LinkedIn mail that is clogging up my system, and I would like to keep it in a separate mailbox, but instead of moving it manually, I'm just going to create a rule and let it go there automatically. So first thing I'm going to do is, first thing I like to do is I first want to see from which mailbox this mail comes from. And so I can channel my folder or my mailbox into the proper mail account. Okay. So to start off with, guys, I've got 3 accounts here. I've got my iCloud mail account. I've got my DigiCap mail account, which is a Microsoft Exchange, and I've got my Alpha Omega Gmail account. I'm just going to rename that quickly, give it a better description. So I'm just going to go Mail Preferences, and under my accounts, I'm just going to go to my Gmail account and change the description. This you can change, guys. A lot of my clients think when I change it, they're like, oh no, it's not going to work. Description, you can change it anytime. So I'm going to call it Gmail. Okay. So that you can see that's properly set up. And now we can go on. So first of all, if I now go to my search at the top and I type in LinkedIn, and I go to any of the LinkedIn emails, then I'll see that it actually, the tool, it actually sends it to my DigiCape account. So cool. Now I've got some direction. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mailboxes. I'm going to create a new mailbox. And here it gives me the choice to put it at a certain location. So I want to keep it basically on my server. So I have a choice to actually keep it on my DigiCape mail server, my iCloud, or even my Google, or even just keep it on my machine. The reason why I don't want to go on the machine only, guys, because what if something happens to my machine and I don't have a backup? Where at least if you put it on either your Gmail, your Exchange, if you've got one, or even your iCloud mail, then it will be there. If something should happen to your machine, God forbid, then you will still have access to that emails, right? So I'm going to make it this time around on my DigiCap Exchange, and I'm going to call it LinkedIn, okay? And then you should see there's my LinkedIn mailbox under my DigiCap. Okay. So now I'm going to create that rule. So to do that, I'm going to go to Mail, Preferences, and under Preferences, I'm going to go to the Rules tab button. Okay. Now here, I will just click on Add a Rule. Is first of all, I'm just going to give this description. I'm going to say from LinkedIn. Okay. And yeah, it tells me if any of the following two conditions are met. I'm going to come back to this to explain it to you guys in detail because you do have 2 choices. Okay. And it says here from contains and the email address. Now, where does that email address comes from? Okay, it comes from the mail that I've selected. So this is pretty cool, guys. If you select the email and you go to rules, then it will actually populate it with this line here at the bottom. So it can kind of taking a shortcut. If I didn't select any email, it would have given me a blank space here. But there is a little bit of a pitfall here, guys. If I should look at my LinkedIn mails that have come in, there are so many different types of LinkedIn mail addresses, right? So if I only take that into account, it will only filter those messages into my mailbox. So just be aware of that. Now, to make this easier, I'm just gonna, it says here from contains the email address, but it says contains. So it should contain either part of it or the entire one. So the common denominator with all the emails is the at linkedin.com. So I'm just gonna delete the front part, okay? So I can just use the one, and I'm just gonna, if whatever comes from contains that part, it must move it into that mailbox. That's the major step. Now I'm just going to click on OK, and I'm going to come back, guys, and I'm just going to show you guys more detail of it. So I'm going to click on OK. There we go. There we go. So there I'm just going to click on apply, and you can see now it applied my rule. I'm going to go into that mailbox. Now, guys, one thing you got to keep in mind. If you have created the rule, be a little bit patient because sometimes it takes a while for it to actually work. So as you can see, I'm clicking on my LinkedIn mailbox. There's nothing at the moment, and I'm not going to still scratch around with it because, this is not my first rodeo. So I've seen this happen time and time again. In a while, depending on how many messages you have in your mailbox and depending on the size of the messages, it might take a short while for it to populate, but just be patient. There you can see. Lo and behold, there she comes in. Okay. So now all the LinkedIn mail is now have been moved to there. So they are no longer sitting in my DigiCape inbox. Okay. So they're no longer sitting in my DigiCape inbox. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty stoked. So I'm going to move on. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to setting up another rule. So I've got an issue with my mail where, or I received this one email where, my iCloud storage keeps on running low. And at the point it said to me, I don't have iCloud storage. So just and I don't even keep my eye on my iCloud email. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a route to point out if my storage is running low, then I must send a mail to my DigiCape mailbox, and I can just action from there. Okay, so I'm going to go to mail, preferences again, add rule. There you can see, boom, it pre-populated it. I also want to add in another criteria. Now, first of all, guys, you will notice here it says from contains and the email address. I can also change this into any of these options here. Okay. I can make it subject or so on, or any recipient, send and receive, and so on. Now, you would notice that there is this little plus here, okay? So if I click on the plus, it will give me to add in another criteria, okay? So I'm gonna keep the top one because I want that email to come from this mail address. However, I also want the subject to be, when you can already see it already takes that part of that email subject, and I want that subject to be your iCloud storage is full. Okay, but now check this out. It says there if any of the following conditions are met. Now I don't want it if any, because remember another email might come in and says your iCloud storage is full, and then it's going to take that into account only. Okay, but I don't want it to only take that criteria to account. I want them to actually take that and that criteria. So yeah, we'll change it to all. So I said if both criteria are met, then it must do an action. And now the action that it must do is it must forward the message, right, to my Angelo at digicap.co.za email address. And the message I'm going to type in is, dude, up your storage now. There we go. And I just say, okay. Okay. And I can also, on top of that, send myself a nice little notification. Cool. And I just say, okay. And I just click on apply. The one mistake I made, guys, which is not a train smash, is renaming it. So I'm just going to go to edit and I'm just going to make it iCloud storage. Cool, keep it nice and simple. There we go. And I apply that. So now that now you guys get the gist and the understanding about how to work with the rules. There's still one more thing, and then we're going to cut down to the server side of things. So I've done everything within Apple Mail, right? So now I'm going to go to Exchange, right? Like, I don't know, maybe many of the schools these days and many companies are running Microsoft Exchange. So the one cool thing about it is, and you can see here's my DigiCap mailbox. If I do a secondary click on it in Apple Mail still, guys, and I go to Get Info, and under the Get Info, you'll see there's an out of office. So yeah, it's nicely, easily set up. This is part of Exchange, where I can easily just go into my Apple Mail and put in a out of office reply. But now, not all mailboxes work like this. If I go to my Gmail and I do a secondary click as well, two fingers click on your trackpad or right click on your mouse, whichever way it's set up. Normally, people just hold down the control key and click. And I go to get account info again. Then you will see there's no out of office reply there. However, I can set one up by doing a rule. So now I can go again to mail preferences, rules, and I can add a rule. And I'm going to call this rule out of office. And I can say if any of the condition, I'm not going to still me because I'm just going to use one condition. And I'm going to go from, I'm going to make it each and every message that comes in. And now for each and every message that comes in, I'm going to make it that it must reply to that message. And I'm going to type in the message. This time around, I'm going to make it and say, I'm unavailable at this time, blah, 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 or make it any message per se. Okay, and that's going to be my out of office reply. What I've seen what other people has done in the past is that they will actually put a date on it as well. They will go in and say date received. So say for instance, they're about to leave the next day, they would then say greater than a day old, right? And I've spoke to some of my clients, and this is an option that actually works for them. You can set up how many days so that you can be proactive about it. You know, we tend to forget about these things when we're on holiday. So those are the types of things that you can put in. The one drawback of this is the following. If you do an out of office reply in this fashion, then it will only work when your Mac is switched on and an email comes in. Now, what if your Mac is not on? That out of office won't send. Okay, now this takes me to when you want to go to the server side and rather do the out of office there, as well as the fact that most of the time it's built in onto the server. So now you guys have seen with Exchange, it's easy. I can do it in the application, and I'll show you guys in a minute how to do it in Outlook. But what about Gmail? Okay, so now with Gmail, I'm going to go to my browser and I'm going straight to my Gmail webmail. Okay, and in my webmail, I've already signed in, guys. So I'm not still going to go through the whole process. In my Gmail webmail, right, or Gmail in my browser, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the following. So now when I do it out of office, I'm going to go to the cogwheel. I'm going to go to see all settings. Now under see all settings, under general, scroll right to the bottom and there you'll see vacation responder. We switch that baby on. And here we're going to set our dates, our first, our last date, our subject, and we're going to put a nice message and so on. What's the cool thing about it is that it will actually end the vacation or the out of office as soon as it hits the last date. Also, guys, if you set it up this way, even if somebody sends you an email and your machine is off, because it's set up on the server, it will still respond. Okay, so that's the cool thing about it. But now, seeing that we are on Google, on Gmail, you might ask me, oh, cool, Angelo, thank you very much, but how do I do then rules in this fashion? So when it comes to rules, Gmail, they want to be original. So I'm going to say, okay. So they don't call it rules, they call it filters. Okay, now now there are many ways to do a filter. So say for instance, I want to now access emails that was sent to or from my personal mailbox to my DigiCat mailbox. So I would then use a filter. Now, the three ways you can access filters is if you go to your search mail, you click on the arrow, it will automatically give you the filter, right? And you can just click on create filter. Also, if you go into an email, that's even the easiest way to do it. So if I go to an email and I want to type in Angelo, here we go, to angelo@digicat.co.za. And now I see there's a lot of emails that pops up from angelo.co.za, okay, at digicat.co.za. So if I click on any of these emails, right, if I click on any of those emails, you will see that there's a little ellipsis button um, on the right hand side. If you click on that, you can say filter like this. So if you click on that, automatically they will put in that from or your email address in the top there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a filter, okay, or not only create a filter, but I also want to put in another criteria. I'm going to say to, let me go Angelo at DigiCape, okay, because if I just choose that, it's going to throw all of the emails because it's from the top part and I just want to filter to that email box. So when I click on create filter, you can also add in the other criteria if you want to, guys. Create filter button, and here they give you more options. Okay, so before I do that, let me just explain to you these things. So it says is skip inbox, archive it. So what it will do is it will not keep a copy in the inbox for future messages coming in. It will automatically just add it into a mailbox. Now you might see there's nothing like folders or anything. You see, when it comes to Gmail, they don't use the word folders, they call it labels. So now I'm gonna then move those emails to a label called personal. Oh, I already made it. If you didn't make the label yet, there is a new label button, guys, or choose label. I've got my label already. I'm going to call it, I called it personal. So I'll select that one. And I also want to move all of the other messages, historic messages, to that mailbox as well. So I say also apply filter to 17 matching conversations. I'm not going to go skip inbox because I want to keep a copy in there anyway. And I'm going to click on create filter. Okay, so there you can see, there we go. So let's check out personal. So if I go to personal, there might also be a delay, guys. Oh, there's no delay. And there we go. There's your filter created. And that's your rule. Easy comment. Now you might tell me, okay, cool. I've now created my rule. How do I go about editing it if I'm not happy with it? That's not a problem. We go to our cogwheel again, see all settings. Under our see all settings, we go to filter and block addresses. And you can see they have created the filter. That's the one they actually created. There we go. That's the one. So if I click on it, I can then edit or delete it and so on. If I click on edit, then it will take me back into that filter and so on. Pretty cool. So that's how you can, do the DOI, delete, insert, update. Cool. So now let's move on. Let's look at Outlook. Okay, for those who are using Outlook. So I'm gonna minimize the Google Mail and I'm gonna go straight to Outlook. Now, what I like about Outlook is the organizing part of it. right? So I'm gonna kind of throw myself into the deep end of the pool with this one, guys. So first of all, I'm gonna build a rule based on my boss Alan. You know, now the whole thing about Outlook is actually designed around exchange, all right? We're going to do another few lessons on Outlook at a later stage, but just to show you guys this quickly, first of all, I'm going to search for all emails sent by Alan. Okay, there we go. Now that I've seen all the emails sent by Alan, I want to now build a rule around that, right? However, before I do the rule part, I first want to, I'm also going to move this into a mailbox, guys. So what I'm going to do is, or sorry, the mailbox, but Outlook calls it not mailboxes and not labels, but folders. Same thing, basically. So now this time around, I'm going to go to my home ribbon button. And in my home ribbon button, I'm going to click on new items and folder. So I'm going to call this folder from Alan. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this folder favorite because I don't want to still search for all these between all these folders, guys. I can actually just push it right to the top of my mail folder list. I'll just click on that star, and there you can see it's right at the top, set as a favorite. I can also take it off the favorites as well. I thought I'm just going to show you guys that as a nice little tip. So if you've got Outlook, you can put it also as a favorite. It also does it in Apple Mail if you've got Pixel. Okay. So now I'm going to create a rule on that Apple Mail or Alan's email that I found earlier on. So I'm going to go Alan again. And there we go. Now, to create a rule, I can do it one of two ways. I can go to organize and click on a rule, rules. Or I can just right click on the email. This is the quickest way to do it. Right click on it and I can say in my menu, rules, and create rule. Now there it will give me everything is set up already for me, right? However, the one thing that I don't want to take all of this into account. So I'm just going to minus the things out that I don't want. And the subject I actually want to change. So I'm going to change my rule name first. I'm going to call it training with Alan. And I'm just going to change the subject and make that if it contains training. Okay. And now put down my criteria, and you can see it contains, it comes from Alan, all good and well. And I don't want to move that to a folder. I actually want to copy it to the folder I've just created. So I choose the full folder and I call it, see from Alan, there we go, and choose. So I can, the one thing that I like about Outlook is that also gives me this except if. So if you want to put in a else if statement, you know, like if this happens, don't then execute it. But I'm just going to click on OK, it's enabled and OK. And now it will then. Now, the one limitation you must know if you're going to do a rule within Outlook, right? Then it won't move the messages into there. Okay. What it will do is any future messages coming in, it will then execute that command. Okay. So if Alan should send me a message now, you will see it will then go straight into that mailbox. However, if you want to move all of your messages there, guys, that's pretty easy. You can just type in the person's name that you've made it for. Go to my inbox, and then all you do is you just select all, then you just drag all of that messages into that folder, and then you have everything in there plus any future messages coming in. Okay, so that is in your Outlook. Out of office reply, it's also built in Outlook, and that you will find under your tools, out of office, and you can just set up your out of office reply. Guys, the cool thing about Outlook is as soon as you do it here, it will automatically, or with Exchange, it will execute it on the server. So you don't need to worry about which machine you are doing it on because it will execute it on the server as well. Tested it with both my iPhone, my Mac as well, and it works on both sides. Cool. Lastly, iCloud email for those who want to set up an out of office and you're using iCloud Mail, um, then I'm just going to go straight to my iCloud. And I know I'm over my time almost, guys. I'm almost about done. So if I go to my iCloud email, and remember, you could have set the iCloud out of office reply by using a rule inside of Apple Mail, like I showed you. But you can also go as far as in iCloud Mail. If you sign into your iCloud.com in your browser and you go to Mail, I'm just going to take you guys through it quickly. So yeah, I'm signed into my iCloud and I go to Mail. So you will see that the Mail interface looks similar to that of Apple Mail. But at the bottom, you've got this little cogwheel. So if you click on that cogwheel and you go to Preferences, then you will see that there is an option also called Vacation. And here you can see here you can set up your out of office reply. Also, if you want to set up rules, you can go to rules here and you can add in your different rules and click on a rule and put in your different rules in there. One last thing, and I kind of maybe just jumped the gun with this one. I wanted to show you guys this. For the people who are using Outlook, you can also go to your Outlook webmail, and in your Outlook webmail to get to your rules, you also go to the cogwheel, and under the cogwheel, you go to view all Outlook settings. This is like a back cave, guys. It's a bit hidden away. So yeah, and in that additional settings, you will find the rules there. And if you want to do an out of office from there, you go to automatic replies because they don't call it out of office reply in this instance. And that is my presentation of creating rules on the server, as well as creating rules on your local mail client, i.e. Outlook and Mail.
I just have a question, and I tried this out, and what I found was in doing it, it meant that in order to see taking your example, the LinkedIn and Alan's messages, I would have to go to their individual inboxes to see it, and it wouldn't necessarily come into my inbox where I could just see, all the messages. So if I didn't go in there, I would kind of miss it. Is
It
So it meant that if I opened up many folders like this, it meant that I would have to go into those individual folders on a regular basis to actually see that email, because it wouldn't come into my main inbox for me to see.
depends, I call depends. If you're gonna go with the option saying move, right? So as soon as it gets your inbox, it will immediately move it to that mailbox.
Okay.
But if you say copy, then it will keep a copy in your inbox, make a copy into your into your new mailbox. Um, it's similar to that of a smart a mailbox. In my last session, I think we covered smart mailboxes.
Yeah.
But uh, if you the whole purpose of the rule is for me is normally I don't use the copy option when I'm doing a rule. I just showed you guys because it is one of the options in there.
Yeah.
But for me, the rule is always, it's not that important email. It's more of just information, and I would like to keep it away from my inbox and keep it separate. So then I will do the move option. So it's more of what do you want to do, and these are the tools that is available to your disposal. You see, I wouldn't say for important email, unless it must be in that folder, I would say cool, all good and well. But then you have to keep, like you said, keep track of both your inbox as well as that other
Yeah,
mail
yeah,
folder as well.
yeah, yeah.
And if you're a creature of habit like I am, it's something I wouldn't do.
Yeah. No, thanks for that. It's it's more a question of, did I do something wrong?
Yeah,
But for example, all these Cricut support emails that come through, putting that into a folder would be ideal, because if I need it, I can always go there and get it. But
awesome.
if I'm seeing Alan's emails as important to me, it's not something that I would necessarily put into a separate folder. Is that correct in saying that?
That yeah, but it's I wouldn't say one shoe fits all. I would say it's how you deem it, man. I know some people say very important things must be categorized,
Yeah.
and some people will say many very important things must go into the inbox. The answer to this is just you've got the tools to decide what is what and who's who in the zoo.
Okay. Thanks, Angela.
Sure.
Yeah, one man's rule is another man's smart folder, I think.
Yeah.
Like I've got some smart folders that says, just show me yesterday's mail. And then I've got another one that just shows me yesterday's unread mail, right? Just show me today's mail. So I don't have to go and filter. I just click on it, and today's mail is always today's mail. Doesn't matter what the date is. So I really like smart folders. And I like your analogy where you say, if there's something that I want to keep together, but it's not super important, but I want to maybe refer back to it, like the Quicket notifications. That's a very nice way of doing it.
Yeah. I actually do it with mine as well, Carl. Great minds think alike.
I'm just about to do mine.
I wouldn't.
Beautiful people, thank you very, very much. Yeah, and all of the best to you guys as usual. See you guys on Thursday.